matter what you do, you can bump into a closed door a million times, but eventually you're going to find your way through the maze to where you need to be. You know, when I was getting ready to write this book, I had a list. You know, it took 7 years for me to get ready to write this book. I had a list of about 125 men who had influenced my life that I wanted to put in the book. And then I realized if I just focused on the unicorns, the Mick Jaggers, the Dr. Oz, the George Bush, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, all the biggest people who everybody knew, I would have enough to fill 400 pages.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I came out to 329. And, you know, these people, they didn't set out in life to become Dr. Oz, or they just became it. By the happenstance of life, that's what happens when you're a unicorn. You have a destiny.
When you least expect it. Clint, we're going to take a quick break, but we're coming back for phone calls with you and stories next on Coast to Coast AM.
Find out more about tonight's guest. Log on to coasttocoastam.com.
Kfi Am 640.
There's nothing better than feeling safe and sound while you gently drift off to sleep.
Great, Dad. And speaking of feeling safe, Sit and Sleep honors the veterans, active duty military, and first responders who protect us during our Veterans Day sale.
Save up to 50% off the best brands. Sleep interest-free for 12 months with your minimum monthly payment. And we're giving a special Veterans Day sale discount to all those who serve.
To all the heroes who help us sleep a little easier at night.
Happy Veterans Day from Sit and Sleep.
The Delta variant is making COVID-19 spread faster and more easily. Variants can be more contagious, aggressive, and deadly. But we know vaccines work. Vaccinated Californians have greater protection against serious illness, hospitalization, and death. We can help stop the spread and end this pandemic. Get vaccinated and wear a mask when it can protect you and others. Find a vaccine near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Contractor license 1047-781.
Ken, it's Ken. What's the deal with the flashlight? What do you mean? Like on our billboards and on our trucks and stuff. That kid with the flashlight is me, Zach. Explain that to me. My dad was a big-time expert. So back when I was in grade school, he would always take me with him on repair calls at night. Made you hold the flashlight, didn't he? Yeah, and he would always explain to me how he diagnosed the problem. That's a good dad, that's what that is. And then he would show me the right way to fix it, not the easy way. So that flashlight is a symbol, huh? That flashlight says an expert will always see the problem that the other guys can't see. That's why you make sure all our guys are experts. Yeah, and when you repair things the right way, not the easy way, you're like that beam of light. Always doing the right thing for the customer. That's what the flashlight means, Zach. Thanks for telling me, Ken. Get 'em. GOETTL. We know our business, and we know it well.
Opinion without the preach. KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County.
It's time for your morning wake-up call. And now, here's Jennifer Jones-Lee.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Braves win, Youngkin win. Those are the two stories you are going to hear a buttload about today. Because the World Series ended last night. It was Game 6. Braves win it over Houston. And I was telling the crew that normally Scott calls me when he's working in the Bay at 7:22 every night. Because by the time he gets off his commute from BART and walks to his apartment, then that's usually right the time. Oh no, I didn't get a call until, never. I had to call him, congratulate him after the game, and then told him like, hey honey, we don't need to talk tonight. And he's like, man, I'm on cloud 9. People just keep texting me. It's crazy. Here's the thing. When your wife's team doesn't win the World Series and yours does, you don't need to include her on text threads with all the people that you're excited to talk to about the Braves winning. It's like salt in the wound. I'm just saying. It's my PSA of the morning for all couples out there. Some of the stories we're watching in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. LA County says it's ready to start giving out shots of Pfizer's vaccine to kids between the ages 5 and 11 after approval from the CDC. And the LA County Department of Public Health has released new guidelines that says will allow people to ditch their masks and keep COVID from spreading. Youngkin wins in Virginia in that governor's race. The Republican prevails. We'll talk with ABC's Avery Harper about all of the polls, not just Virginia. I mean, New Jersey, Buffalo. We had Florida, New York, Minneapolis, you name it. So we'll talk all about those in just a second. Let's start with some of these stories coming out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom. American kids between the ages of 5 and 11 can now get a shot of the COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer's version of the shot was approved by the CDC yesterday, and the first vaccine available for the younger age group. Dr. Matthew Daly is a member of the CDC advisory panel that endorsed the shot.
It's clear if we wait, we miss the chance to prevent many cases of COVID-19 in this age group, and that includes some very severe cases.
Pfizer's vaccine for the younger age group is only a third of the dose that adults receive. LA County says it's ready to start giving out shots of Pfizer's vaccine to the younger group. Health officials say the city got its first shipment of the pediatric doses yesterday, and the county's expecting to receive about 300,000 doses within the next couple of weeks. About 900,000 kids in LA between 5 and 11 are eligible. The LA County Department of Public Health has released new guidelines it says could allow people to ditch their masks and keep COVID-19 from spreading. Public Health Director Barbara Freer says in the meantime, COVID safety protocols will stay in place.
We're hopeful that with continued increases in vaccinations and boosters and adherence to the existing common sense safety precautions, we can reach a lower level of community transmission.
She says the mask mandate will only be lifted when the county has 3 straight weeks at or below a moderate level of transmission of COVID. Hospitalizations are down to fewer than 600 a day, and at least 80% of people 12 and older are fully vaccinated. A multi-million-dollar settlement has been approved for 2 families over photos of the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant.
LA County supervisors have approved a $2.5 million settlement, which will be split between siblings who lost their sister and parents in the crash, and a man whose wife was also on board. Supervisors made no comment ahead of the vote yesterday. Both families filed suits saying they suffered emotional distress when they learned that LA County deputies and LA County firefighters allegedly shared photos of the crash last year. The settlement still needs to be approved in court before it's final. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Irvine has made it illegal to have a catalytic converter without proof of ownership in response to a dramatic spike in thefts of the exhaust part.
Irvine had 61 catalytic converters stolen last year.
In 2021, we have over 400 that have been reported to us.
Irvine Police Lieutenant Bill Bingham says the new ordinance makes it easier to prosecute someone who has a catalytic converter that's not attached to a car. He says this Saturday, people can also get their vehicle ID number etched onto their catalytic converter for free.
If a thief, if they see that it has been etched, this could potentially act as a deterrent.
Catalytic converters can be stolen rather easily and sold for hundreds of dollars. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
And a story that was ingrained in my brain last night with every ding of text messages. The Atlanta Braves won the World Series. They beat the Astros 7-0. It was in Game 6 last night. That was in Houston. It was the series they were already ahead, 3 games, and then they beat them 4-2. Freddie Freeman's single homer in the 7th inning put the icing on the cake.
We lost 97 games in 2015, and 6 years later, we're world champions.
Atlanta won the World Series 26 years ago. All right, when we come back, we'll talk with Avery Harper and all of the outcomes of the elections. There were 30 states that had elections yesterday. California, not one of them. But there was a big one, specifically Virginia. There was a shakeup in that outcome, so we'll talk more about that in just a second. But hi, Robert DeBucky, what's up on the 405?
Hey, it's northbound side of the 405 out of Westminster. Caltrans wrapping up closure here between Beach Boulevard and Volta. Looks like they've got it mostly open now, but you are seeing delays through the area. Southbound side of the 405 in that same area, they had all lanes shut down overnight, but they've picked up those cones now. You're moving well as you head towards the 405, the 55 freeway. We have a new problem in Glen Helen on the 15 freeway southbound at Glen Helen Parkway. Crash in the left lane. This got you backed up before the 215 split, and in Devore on the 215 southbound between Palm Avenue and University Parkway. Left lane shut down by Caltrans until around 7 o'clock. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robert Dubucky.
5:06 on your wake-up call. Avery Harper, good morning to you. Boy, do we have a lot to squeeze in when it comes to election results. 30 states across the country had elections yesterday. Let's start with the big one, a bit of an upset in Virginia.
Right. This is always going to be a close race. And when you look at those polling leading up to Election Day, what it showed was that both former Governor Terry McAuliffe and Glenn Youngkin, the Republican, were really in a statistical tie. But ultimately last night, I think if you look at the outcomes in Democratic strongholds in the state, the northern Virginia suburbs, Henrico County, which is right around Richmond, the Hampton Roads area of the state, what we really see is that McAuliffe underperformed and Glenn Youngkin outperformed expectations for him in those areas. And I think he was able to do that by doing two things. His closing message really delved into a culture war in order to energize his base, using schools and launching his Parents Matter campaign in the face of flood, really, from former Governor McAuliffe, talking about the parents' impact and their opinions about what schools should be teaching their children, really got folks who were independent out to the polls as well. Another thing that Youngkin did was that he kept former President Trump out of arm's length, right? He did not campaign alongside former President Trump in the ways that we've seen other candidates do in the past. And I think that allowed him to maintain the support of reliably red, die-hard Trump voters, but also bring independents and dissatisfied Biden voters into the fold.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that was exactly the one thing that I kept noticing was, I'm like, how is he getting the support of these Trump supporters, yet he's not really ever mentioning President Trump in the fold? Was it that he presented himself on Republican values, but yet never used those, those big names like you saw McAuliffe use? He never used those front, those showstopper kind of names to represent himself. I thought it was interesting.
Right. I think what we saw, and I think what Republicans are going to take away from this race and from this campaign is that Glenn Youngkin can really do these playbooks for Republicans to win in purple areas, in blue areas. I think that Terry McAuliffe really hoped to make this race a referendum on former President Trump, and Youngkin was able to transcend that by rallying voters around issues that they cared about. And again, keeping Trump at a distance, giving independents permission to support a Republican out loud in a post-Trump Republican world.
Okay, let's talk about New Jersey now and the governor's race there. It was super close last night. I think, is it still too close to call, or have they done it yet?
It is still too close to call, and this is really a surprise for many of us who were watching. I think that if you asked me yesterday to bet money on which race was going to be called first, this gubernatorial race, I would have told you hands down that New Jersey would have been the one that we would know, and that it would have been Phil Murphy that won. This should have been a slam dunk for the incumbent Governor Phil Murphy in a blue state. But what we're seeing is that is not the case, and so those votes are still being counted, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, then let's focus on some of the other cases that we were watching in New York. I think we were seeing how the progressives would play out in the Democratic Party. How did that work?
Well, it depends on which race you're talking about. So if you look at the New York mayoral race, right, I think that the ideological battle within the Democratic Party was really fought during the primary. And progressives did not win out in that race. And you saw Eric Adams become the Democratic nominee and now will be the next mayor of New York City, the second black mayor in the history of the city. And he really presented more moderate views. He was somebody who is a former NYPD detective. And in a year that came after all the protests we saw around the murder of George Floyd, but also at the same time amid a spike in violent crime, I think what you saw is moderates kind of beat out progressives in that race. If you're talking about the Buffalo mayoral race, where we could have seen our first Democratic Socialist mayor of a major city in a long time. That race, the votes are still out as well. The moderate Democratic incumbent mayor who did not win the primary waged a pretty aggressive writing campaign that they're still trying to see where he is in that race, but it's not really looking good for progressives in that race either.
And real quickly, Minneapolis, how did it go down with the ballot question over policing and complete reform, actually just getting rid of the department there?
Right, well, they were voting to replace the current police department in its current form with a Department of Public Safety, sort of imagining what law enforcement looks like in this city that was really the center of that protest movement after the killing of George Floyd. And what we saw is that, folks in Minneapolis are not ready to do that. I think that the Democrats really have a messaging problem on their hands when it comes to the conversation of brown police reform and the phrase defunding the police, right? I've said it over and over again, and I'll say it again, that defunding the police does not mean stripping police of all funding. Rather, it means to redirect funding, some funding, to other social initiatives in order to take some things off the plate of police. But the fact is that the defund the police movement has become a flashpoint, and therefore we're seeing Democrats lose out when it comes to these sorts of initiatives and ballot measures.
Avery, thank you so much for squeezing all that in for me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, see you later. That is ABC's Avery Harper. So there you go. And there were many more results that came out, but I just wanted to get you the results from some of the big headline ones. Virginia, New Jersey, obviously, what happened with the police in Minneapolis, the mayoral race in New York. It's just some of the biggies. All right, we're just getting word from ABC 7 that there's a woman who says she was working for DoorDash who was shot last night in La Mirada, and investigators say that she told them she was being aggressively followed. So we're going to follow up on this story and get more information on it, but that's pretty terrifying. You're a DoorDash driver and you're aggressively followed? What does that mean? So I definitely want to get the details on that one. A professional football player has been charged with felony DUI in connection with a fatal car crash in Vegas. Henry Ruggs of the Raiders was involved in yesterday's crash. A witness, Amy Rego, says she saw the car on fire.
My husband was next to me. I was like, honey, there's an accident. Did you hear it? And then I heard people yelling, saying like, don't move it, don't touch him.
The Raiders released Ruggs just hours after he was charged. An appeals court in San Francisco is considering whether a harassment lawsuit against the Church of Scientology should be decided by a jury or an arbitration board of Scientologists. The case was brought by 4 women who alleged they were raped by actor Danny Masterson, who is a Scientologist, in the early 2000s. A criminal case is also pending. Boy, you looking for work? I've got a couple of places for you. Amazon says it's looking to hire more than 14,000 new employees across SoCal for the holiday season. The pay starts at $18 an hour on average, with an extra $3 an hour for people who are willing to work overnight and weekend shifts. The company is also offering signing bonuses of up to $3,000 at some locations. Amazon says it plans to hire 150,000 holiday workers nationally. And the United States Postal Service is looking to hire 1,200 people in the LA area to keep up with what looks like a busy e-commerce holiday season. Daniel Vargas with USPS says they're expecting to see a bump in online deliveries this holiday season.
Everybody's ordering, so the e-commerce is a big impact on our delivery.
USPS says it anticipates it could be delivering up to 29 million packages daily, from Thanksgiving to New Year's Day. It says the busiest week is expected to be December 13th through the 18th, where they expect to deliver up to 200 million packages. Now you see why they need all that staffing. All right, we come back, we'll talk tech with KTLA's Rich DeMero. Facebook is shutting down its facial recognition tools. We'll find out what the impact will be. And man, you thought Zoom was free and all was well and right with the world. Yeah, that's changing. Ads are on the way. And Rich has 2 emergency apps to tell us about that apparently promise to get you help very fast. Also on the way, it is your chance to win $1,000. All that's coming up. One more time, though, let's take a look at your drive with Robert Zabacki.
We've got a crash on the 15 freeway southbound side in Glen Helen just before Glen Helen Parkway. Left lane shut down here. This got you backed up before the 215 split. We got a slow drive out of Riverside, starting to build already from La Sierra westbound side all the way to Dixon Canyon Road. There was a crash there, just moved out of the lane over to the right shoulder. Beyond that point, it moves well into Orange County. And the road work wrapped up on the 405 northbound leaving Westminster, but still seeing a bit of a slowdown between about Beach Boulevard and Golden Westport. Opens up heading towards Long Beach. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Bucky.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. If you've decided to sell your house, I know it is tempting to just get it listed as is or even take one of those cash-out deals. But why sell yourself short when making just the right upgrades will maximize its sale value? You mean like flipping our own home, Dean? We don't have the expertise or the cash for that. I know, but my friends at Revive do. Revive knows exactly what to change, what to spend, and where to spend it. They'll manage everything for you and front all the costs. Yes, Revive fronts the cost. They get paid back from escrow, but the profit gained is all yours. How much profit? The average client makes over 200% profit on what Revive invests on their behalf. It's a no-brainer. Reach out to iloverevive.com today and see if your home qualifies. To make the most from the sale of your home, go to iloverevive.com. That's iloverevive.com.
This report is sponsored by Mucinex 12 Hour. Mucinex DM's bilayer tablet allows for immediate and extended release, relieving both wet and dry coughs and loosening chest congestion for 12 hours. Mucinex is your trusted partner to help relieve cough and chest congestion and get your body back into control. Available at Walmart.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick, and here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
The Atlanta Braves are World Series champs. They shut out the Astros in Game 6, winning their first title since 1995. Outfielder Jorge Soler was named MVP. The Lakers survived the Rockets, sweeping back-to-back games against Houston. LeBron James led L.A. with a 30-point double-double. And Georgia Southern named Clay Helton their new football coach. Helton is reportedly signing a 5-year deal. I'm Misty Jordan.
They say good things come to those who wait. The 2021 Mercedes-Benz SUV family proves otherwise. It takes no time at all to set up a test drive at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Learn more at MBUSA.com.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. What does solar mean for your future? Well, that depends on whether your solar is Sunlux Solar. Sunlux Solar means you've unshackled your home from the rising cost of electricity. Sunlux Solar means uninterrupted power during blackouts or natural disasters. It means no more dependence on gasoline because your home fuels your car. Sunlux Solar means saving tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the system. I design homes. I know just how much is riding on your solar. That's why I partner with Sunlux, because Sunlux is solar done right. The most comprehensive warranty in the industry, 5-star customer service, critical partnerships with industry leaders like Tesla and LG. With Sunlux, it's a partnership for your home's future, and that future is just a click away at sunlux.com. That's sunlux.com. CSLB 1008374.
California has millions of homes that could be damaged in a strong earthquake, and earthquakes are inevitable in the Golden State. An older home is especially vulnerable to earthquake damage, so you may need to take steps to strengthen it and help reduce the chance of damage. Visit strengthenmyhouse.com to learn about better protecting your home from earthquake damage. The work may cost less than you think and can often be completed in a few days. You've worked hard to get a home. Now's the time to protect it. Get prepared today so you can worry less tomorrow. Visit strengthenmyhouse.com.
It's been tough talking to my doctor about constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. I finally laid all my symptoms out there and how they keep coming back. She said I may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. We agreed it's time to try something different.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Visit a doctor in person or online. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by Abbey and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Wealth is about more than making money. It's about making the most of life's possibilities. At Edelman Financial Engines, we believe that's key to taking your wealth potential to the next level. That's why we model over 38,000 investments across 17 asset classes monthly, so your strategy is current and focused on the goals ahead. That's why we don't use cookie-cutter strategies, but a comprehensive, tax-smart, cost-effective, and personalized approach to wealth planning. That's why our advice is powered by a sophisticated investment management approach that's been awarded 12 U.S. patents. And that's why our experts help coordinate every facet of your financial life. Wealth planning, investment management, estate planning, insurance, and more. For more ways to take your wealth potential to a new level, call Edelman Financial Engines and schedule a free, no-obligation meeting with an advisor today. Reach us at 833-PLAN-EFE or visit planefe.com.
How are those Solar Max panels treating you?
Loving them. I just wish I went with Solar Max sooner. All the money I would have saved.
Solar Max has new Tesla 420 panels and power walls for $79.96 per month and $0 down.
Dial pound 250 from your cell and say the keyword Solar Max or go to solarmaxtech.com. Monthly payment available on food credits. The SOB number 9720.
I was thinking about you and sports betting, of what you go through. You sit down, like you do your homework, you look at where the teams are at. Everyone feels like they can do this. It's really hard to do it.
That's why when you sit in a sports book, they'll bring you free alcohol.
Gary and Shannon, weekdays at 10 a.m.
There's free alcohol. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
That goes for everything.
On KFI.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome to a Wednesday on Jennifer Jones Lee. The LA County Sheriff's Department is looking into whether 2 shootings from a car in different cities involved the same people. It was just after 11:30 last night that this DoorDash driver I was telling you about earlier was delivering food in La Mirada when she was shot by someone in a silver-colored car that had been following her. Earlier, a silver sedan rammed another car from behind in South Whittier, and someone shot at the person inside that car. Deputies think a local gang might have done the shooting. And American kids between the ages of 5 and 11 can now get a shot of COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer's version of the shot was approved by the CDC yesterday, and the first vaccine available for the younger age group. 5:35, that is. We'll talk with CNBC's Jane Wells. Somebody's got it wrong in this Hertz Tesla story. So is it true or not? Can you rent a Tesla when you rent from Hertz? Did they buy a whole bunch of cars? What's going on? And did you know that Zillow was flipping homes? And apparently they're pretty crummy at it. We'll explain why. Nike's getting into the metaverse, and treasure hunters may have just found a jackpot in Finland. Speaking of jackpots, I've got your chance to win $1,000.
KFI has your chance to win $1,000.
Text the nationwide keyword
BAG, B-A-G,
to 200-200.
You'll get a confirmation text and info.
Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest.
That's BAG to 200-200.
You know the drill. If you get a call from a number you don't recognize, you gotta pick up the phone. Otherwise, they move on to somebody who will. Your next chance to win comes at 6:20 with Handle and happens 14 times a day here on KFI. Let's take a morning now. Talk a little tech with KTLA's Rich DeMiro. You can follow him on social media at Rich on Tech. His website is richontech.tv. Rich, good morning.
Hey there. Good morning to you, Jennifer.
Facebook shutting down its facial recognition tools. Why?
This kind of came as a surprise. They are citing societal concerns, maybe for the greater good of the world, but the reality is this is a system that's been going on for 10 years. Facebook probably runs one of the biggest facial recognition systems in the world. In fact, it was probably the first place that many of us were introduced to facial recognition, when someone would upload a picture and it would magically tag your friends or suggest those friends, and you'd go, wow, wait, what? How do they know that these people are in these pictures?
Right.
Well, now they're going to shut down this system, and they're going to delete over 1 billion people's individual facial recognition readings, I guess you can call them.
Well, and that's it. I think 99% of the time they got it right. I mean, they were doing a good job of the facial recognition, in my opinion anyway. But I guess if you look at it from a privacy standpoint, do I want them to have all of my facial recognition? I don't know, however they do it. But at the same time, I kind of think to myself, well, they already have it, so what do I care?
Yeah, and they did give people the option in recent years to opt out of being a participant in that system, and they would have deleted your information. But this is kind of a big move. But, it's Facebook. They're very smart, and so clearly they are not giving up. They're not deleting the system from their, servers. They're going to continue to work on this technology, maybe in the background, and figure out ways of making it more private, but still continue to have something like this. But they said right now, there's just too many things going on in the world. Too many companies are sort of backing away from these broad range facial recognition systems that store a lot of people's information in a main database. They said they're sort of looking at things like the iPhone, where yes, there is Face ID on the iPhone, but it's all done on the device. So Apple doesn't actually keep everyone's records of their face on their servers. It's actually just done on your phone and it never leaves that.
Okay, this article that you sent me about Zoom, I was cracking up when I was reading it. So in this article it says, Zoom's mission is to deliver happiness by bringing people together, blah, blah, blah. With this in mind, today we are excited to roll out a pilot advertising program. Hold on, Zoom! You are not going to make me happy and bring people together if you're giving me freaking ads.
I know, I was cracking up at the writing. They made it sound so nice and bright and sunny and exciting.
You love ads. We all love ads. Ads are the best, please.
And the reality is that a lot of people have used Zoom for a long time now, since the pandemic, and it's been a free ride. And it's been a pretty good free ride. I mean, there's not many restrictions. Zoom doesn't really, they have features that are sort of reserved for the paying users, but the free user pretty much can do what they need to do. You can group chat, you can, get live transcripts. I mean, there's a whole bunch of features that they give you for free. And yeah, that 40-minute limit is the main limitation. But now they said, look, you know what? We're a growing company. We saw a lot of growth during this time with the pandemic. We started out as an enterprise company, which means we just targeted business users that pay a lot of money to use us. And we sort of had the free thing in the background. But now that a lot of free users are there, we've got to do these ads, and they're doing it in a very simple way. When you close out your whatever you want to call it, your web chat, they will show a banner ad on the web page when you're done. And they will only do this if you are a non-paying user and the person you're chatting with is a non-paying user, and that's it. Very simple, very easy. But they did say, Jennifer, that they updated the privacy policy to make it clear that they're not using anything that you do in your meeting, anything you say, any of your audio, any of your messages, to actually target ads towards you.
All right, I guess that's fair enough. We have been using them freely for, a couple of years. I get capitalism. I get how it works. So, all right, fine. You can make some money off me now. And what are these two new emergency apps? These sound really cool.
Yeah, this was pretty interesting. I mean, the first one I'll explain is it's called Rescue, R-E-S-C-U, and it's kind of interesting. So, calling 911 is sort of the norm when you have an emergency, but, a lot of people say the 911 system is old, it's antiquated, it's dealing with a lot of different types of calls, but this app, what you do is you pre-fill all of your information, so you have your name, your address, where you work. It can also locate you by GPS, any medications you have, any special medical, alerts you have. And then if you need to get emergency, there are just 3 buttons on the home screen: police, fire, ambulance. You literally tap one of those buttons and help is on the way in seconds. And so what they do is, their argument is that they're basically saying, we know that this person actually needs help because they've gone through and they push this button on their phone, and so you don't need to go through that whole triage system of 911 where, okay, well now what's your problem? What's your emergency? Where are you located? And so they think they can get you help faster than even 911, which is pretty wild.
It is really wild, and I know you got to run so people can go to KTLA this morning to see this, or I'm sure you're going to have it up on richontech.tv. The Onstar Guardian App, it's $15 a month, and if you go there, you can see why. Rich says, Rich has got his explanation up there of why you might want it.
Yeah, and it's also available on Alexa now. So basically, OnStar is on your phone. It can detect a car crash. Even if you don't have an OnStar-enabled car, this just runs on your phone. And you can also get it through Amazon smart speakers. So OnStar is sort of everywhere that you want to be now, not just if you had a GM car that had OnStar built in. So I thought that was pretty neat that OnStar can detect the crash because, if you've got someone in your family, you can share this with up to 7 people in your family, by the way. So $15 a month for this protection.
All right, that's pretty good. Rich, thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, Jennifer, take care.
Thanks, you too. See you later. You can follow Rich on social media at Rich on Tech. His website is richontech.tv. I actually like that one. The OnStar Guardian Safety app. And I think that if I was a parent, I think that this would be something that I would want to share with like new drivers in my family. If I had kids who drove like I did when I was a teenager, when I first got my license, my dad called me Crash. I think that says it all. An Onstar Guardian safety app would have been amazing. So, I don't know. I kind of like that one. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk our business buzz with CNBC's Jane Wells. It's Hertz versus Elon Musk versus Avis. What is the real story behind all of this? Because we've had snippets and headlines about all three of those stories over the last couple of weeks, but it looks like somebody might not have the story quite right. Also, Zillow flips homes, but apparently not very well. Nike wants to get into the metaverse, and how would you like to find an over $1 billion treasure of gold and jewels? Possibly that has been found. We'll tell you where. All that's coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, though, let's get a look at your drive with Robert DeBucky.
We've got some counteracts still working on the 101 freeway northbound out of Valley Village between the 170 and the 405. 3 lanes shut down there. A little late running project here. You're slowing down as you pass the 101 or the 170 split, heading over towards Coldwater Canyon, then it opens up. Southbound side of the 101 right now looking good into Hollywood and then beyond that towards downtown. You do have a minor problem to be aware of on the 605 freeway in Lakewood. Southbound side making it. Carson Street crash moved over to the right shoulder. Bit of a slowdown as you approach the scene. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robert Bucky.
Medicare annual enrollment. The period is here. It is open. And this is for folks who are either on Medicare or about to go on Medicare. And the reason it's important to contact the folks at AGAMedicareOptions.com is that navigating Medicare can be a real bear. It can be overwhelming because plans change every year, sometimes substantially, and your situation is different than your neighbor. Let's talk about AGA and what they'll do. They'll advise you step by step on a plan that fits your situation. Their agents are local. You're talking to someone who is right here in Southern California who's assigned to you, so you have one person you're talking to. AGA will compare most of the major plans at once at no cost to you, and since changes do occur every year, you want to make sure you're on the right plan or you will be on the right plan. And your benefit review is free. Dial pound 250 on your cell and say the keyword My Medicare, pound 250 on the cell, say My Medicare, or visit AGAMedicareOptions.com.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a warmer day than we had yesterday. Not a ton, but we will see highs in the low 80s today for the inland areas. At the beaches, though, still pretty mild. We'll just be right around 70. We lead local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee.
Hey, it's Conway here. Know why I got a whole house water filtration system from Purigan Water? Because I don't want to wonder if my family's tap water is safe. No more wasting money on bottled water, no plastic bottles to recycle, and no more visits to the chiropractor's office because you're lifting 5-gallon bottles of water or 40 pounds of salt. No calcium buildup on faucets or shower heads, and that alone is worth it. Purigan extends the life of your water heater. Stay gone with this clean water. Purigan Water offers free lifetime service. No one else can make that claim. The system takes up a little tiny amount of space. So let's get Purigan, California's preferred whole house water filtration system. And for a limited time, when you buy a whole house system, you get the 6-stage alkaline drink system for free. 844-80-WATER. 844-80-WATER. That's P-U-R, again, water.com. Spelled wrong, but the water's right. 844-80-WATER.
The Purigan man is your best friend to make your water pure again.
Did you know that doctors use Mucinex? That's right. Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. So with cold and flu season upon us, why would you use anything else? Grab Mucinex and put yourself back in control. Available at CVS.
We survived winter in Siberia, my mother told me, by literally eating dirt. Hello, I'm John Akoyan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. I can't imagine living like that. But dirt, my mom told me, had nutrients. We are so fortunate to live in the world's richest country, but every day children go hungry. At Rooter Hero Plumbing, we want to help. So we're bringing back our Hero Help program. Before COVID-19, we fed the homeless, adopted families, and cleaned the bay. But our most popular program was handing out canned goods. Rooter Hero will once again hand out food with no questions asked. Simply pull up in your car and we'll help your family. Go to routerhero.com/herohelp for the date and location. If you want to donate canned goods, call us at 866-DRINK77 for a Rooter Hero Plumbing location nearest you. Thank you.